Hi everybody, welcome to session 1A, Affiliate Strategies for Traffic Generation and Conversion. I'll be your moderator, Andrew Wee, and I have a distinguished panel with me today. Thank you. And during the duration of our session, we plan to keep it really conversational and interactive. So if you have a question, just go ahead and raise your hand and we'll run the mic over to you. I've also noticed that in a lot of panel discussions, the panel members tend to be restricted to soundbite type comments. In this case, I've asked the panel members to go on for 2-3 minutes or longer if they have content to share. So it might be a little different from most panel discussions you have attended. With that, let me introduce the members of the panel. First, we have Geordie Carswell in the center. He's been online marketing for 3 years and previously was the founding CEO for the Revenue Wire Affiliate Network. Geordie specializes in software downloads, affiliate marketing for software downloads and products. And used to author the PPC Super Affiliate blog at blog.revenuewire.com. Is that right? Yeah. His Twitter account's Geordie Carswell. We'll have this information at the end of our presentation too. Second, we have Miles Baker to my left. Miles has been marketing online for about 10 years, involved with all aspects of internet marketing from eBay, SEO, some PPC, blogging, and has been an affiliate manager for merchant for, is that a year? 2 years? About a year and a half. And he blogs over at marketingwithmiles.com. His Twitter ID is Miles Baker. Third member to my extreme left is Nick, I'm going to massacre his last name, Koscianski, aka Nicky Cakes. Nicky has the distinction of referring to himself in the third person, Nicky Cakes on his blog, nickykakes.com. He's a successful affiliate marketer and his aim is to help new marketers succeed online. He's usually really funny and at the same time brutally honest, so I'm sure he'll share a lot of insights. You can follow him at Nicky Cakes on Twitter. Myself, I'm originally from Singapore. I still live there. Started out in 1997 developing online and content portals for one of Asia's largest newspaper and media publishing groups. Been doing affiliate marketing for about 2 years, and I also developed my own products. I blog over at whoisandrewwee.com, and a popular question I get is, who is Andrew Wee? Visit the site. I have a popular podcast series, the Friday podcast. You can check it out at my blog, and let's get the session rolling. Prior to this session, since 3 of the 4 of us have blogs, we solicited questions from our readers, and we'll be answering some of these questions during the session. If you have any follow-up questions or would like more detail, just feel free to ask your questions then and there rather than wait till the end of the session. First question for our panelists: how do you find new affiliate campaigns? Do you have any specific criteria? What's the kind of research you do when you look for new affiliate offers? Maybe Miles?
I like to look for, obviously, ones that pay out really high, like 75% or 50%. The highest is usually the one I go with. I like to look for something I can have a relationship with the vendor. So if I'm looking for a product to promote, I want to do something where like somebody who's here that I could meet in person or I can talk to on the phone, and that way I get support. I like to find something that's large and has a lot of potential, because sometimes things are a little too small and they really aren't worth your effort. I don't like to, and they're more competitive sometimes when they're smaller, so I like to go with any niche that's really large and an affiliate product that kind of appeals more to the masses.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one good example might be diet-related stuff. So if we want to find out, you know, what the next acai berry is or whatever, typically all of that stuff comes from common sources. So if it's been featured on Oprah, it's because it came from Dr. Oz. And Dr. Oz's website will have the next thing on it. And so just trying to keep a track of trends. I use Google Insight for search to keep track of what is growing in terms of mentions and things like that. And that's one way when it comes to CPA-related stuff. The other thing, I do a lot of software. So as a result, keep a pretty close eye on what Microsoft is doing, what new products are coming out, and then what ecosystems will eventually evolve out of those and go from there. So trend spotting is a big part of it.
I usually have no idea what's going to work well, so I generally pick like 5 to 10 things that I don't think are going to work well, and those end up doing the best. Just test everything and find the stuff that works, because I found that the more actual like research and looking at keyword lists and trying to think about what I would buy, it never actually turns out to be what's the most profitable. So I generally just test everything. I do a bit of asking around, like, ask your affiliate manager, ask your friends, whatever, what's working for them. But just test everything, and you'll find out for yourself what the best offers are. It's pretty simple.
Sure. With my publishing background, I tend to like to develop vertical content portals. So, for example, sites targeted towards young professionals, I look at the types of affiliate offers. So I typically structure my affiliate campaigns as comprising a bundle of, say, 4 to 6 affiliate offers that this particular demographic would probably be interested in. So in a way, because I use social means of traffic generation, I tend to want to promote 4 to 5 or more multiple offers to the same consumer, because that's one way to multiply your affiliate earnings. Second question is I think this is especially for PPC as well as SEO campaigns. How do you reach the break-even points for your new campaigns, and how do you reduce click costs, and what are some of the best ways to save money for your traffic generation campaigns?
All right, I guess I'll go first. So I track everything really, really well. I use, if you do PPC campaigns and you're not using tracking software, you're stupid. So I would suggest looking into that. The best software that I found is Tracking 202 or Prosper 202. You can go to prosper202.com. It's free. You can host it on your own server. Has most all the features that you could pretty much ask for in terms of tracking. But in terms of this question, you run a campaign for a week or so, maybe less depending on how much traffic you get, and then you can go in and you can look at which keywords were profitable, which keywords didn't make any money, which are losing you a ton of money, and you cut those out, and that's probably your best bet initially to make your campaign profitable or break even. After that, it's just split testing ad copy to get a better CTR, which will reduce your click costs, and doing that very frequently helps a lot. Yeah, that's it.
I think maybe I'll just speak to AdWords specifically. The way that AdWords quality score works now, as of the most recent updates, is highly CTR centric. So they're not as interested in your landing page as they are in your CTR. And so as a result, you talk about the break-even point. I tend to not look at it that way. I look at each bid on a new campaign as an investment. So if we go into a new niche with a new campaign, I will typically bid up at the beginning and then crank the bid down proportionately as the performance data comes in. And Nick has a really good point about third-party tracking, because Google conversion tracking sucks, and you could be off by as much as 25%, I've found, even higher sometimes. So you could be cutting stuff that's converting. So as a result, I try to figure out what's converting and then bring the bids down to a profitable level. I sort of look at it like you sort of bid to win in the beginning and get a strong CTR history, and then manage it to profitability as you go down. And that takes, depending on the amount of traffic in the niche, that can take even a couple of weeks in some cases, depending on how things go. So I apply that equally to search and the Google Content Network.
I do SEO, so it's quite a bit different. And the way that I go about it to make something profitable is I just focus mainly on getting traffic as much traffic as possible. And then once I'm getting about 500 to 1,000 visitors a day to a site, then I'll kind of focus more on ads. And then what I'll do is I'll split test a lot of different offers. So I'll put up a few different offers up there that I might think will fit well with the visitors to those pages, split test them, and that's kind of how I go about it. Obviously, I have costs for writing the articles and the content or creating the website, but I don't pay too much attention to that if I'm focused on something that I know, like the campaign is a product that I know other people are having success with. I try to really try not to reinvent the wheel, just find out what other people are doing that's successful and then try to get the traffic.
Are you blogging? Oh, sorry. Do you have a question?
What was the name of that? Thank you. What was the name of the pay-per-click tracking software you recommend?
Oh, Prosper 202. It's
Prosper 202?
Yeah. They actually have a booth, I think, in the meat market today, but their big logo says 202 or something. It's Wes, my friend Wes, and some other guys. They put that thing together. It's really good stuff.
What's really cool about that too is that they let you host your own, so you're not uploading your campaign data to anyone and their dog, which can happen with a lot of these hosted pay-per-click management services and things like that. If you're in a highly competitive niche, I would be very, very careful what you upload and to where. That's the great thing about Prosper, is that you can host it.
That's tracking or Prosper and the number 202.com. I believe they're having a meetup, Meetup 202. I think it's tomorrow afternoon, so you might want to go there and check it out as well.
Excellent, thank you.
But, yeah.
Miles, you were talking about how, you start off with SEO instead of a pay-per-click. And I don't know if this is within the scope of this panel or not, but how do you get it to the point where it's getting 500 to 1,000 hits a day just through normal SEO? I know I'm probably sounding like a greenie to a lot of you because of it.
No problem. Just lots of great quality content and loads of great quality inbound links. And there's really no secret to it. You do that, and that's been my formula that's worked, and I've just been working on scaling it. So obviously you have to target keywords that have that much traffic to start with, and you have to know your market niche, and you have to, kind of gauge that you can get that much traffic. And then it's just a matter of finding the areas that aren't as competitive, where you can kind of go in, like kind of the long to medium tail of keywords. I don't really target like highly competitive stuff, like terms like credit card or anything around there. I kind of go for the longer tail, and just by knowing your market, you'll know it's there, and then just bring tons of inbound links to your content.
Like through submitting articles and that kind of stuff?
Submitting articles. What I do is I approach related websites and ask them if they want to set up a partnership where I'll give them free content for their site. In exchange for that free content, I'll put 2 to 3 links in that content back pointing to my site, and I just do that on a large scale.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Back to SEO for a moment. I use a bit of SEO in my business as well, and I think most marketers as well, especially if they're newer to SEO, they don't realize that there's on-site as well as off-site SEO. You can do a whole bunch of stuff on-site, but I think a lot of the magic happens off-site, especially when you're link building, submitting your site to website directories. If you have a blog, submitting it to one of the hundreds of blog directories, because there can be quite a huge amount of inbound or referred traffic. I use blogging and social media for the bulk of my traffic generation, and I think being syndicated on a relevant blog network in your specific niche, in this case I was listed on the 9 Rules blog network, and that brings in excess of 2,000 to 3,000 uniques a day to my blog. So I think it's being able to identify the keywords relevant to your niche, and I think the other thing is with social media, there's a whole concept of influencers in your marketplace. If you know the top 10 to 20 high traffic sites, whether you're using sites like All Talk or Tech Meme or Technorati, and building a relationship with those sites, they don't even have to mention you in your blog role, but just appearing in their blog comment section can bring a flood of traffic to your site. And it's highly relevant and highly targeted traffic as well. Converts really well for whatever relevant affiliate offer you have on your site. Next question. How do you make, given the number of websites and landing pages on the internet, how do you make your landing pages or websites unique or different from other sites?
Geordie
can start.
No.
I don't know. I just write my own content and design the page, and it's unique. I don't know. I try not to copy people too much. I'd rather be the one being copied, but I don't know. I don't necessarily know that it's so important that you be unique. It just so happens that the stuff that I make generally is, but I mean, a lot of people make a great living just copying other people's stuff and, copying people's campaigns, and seems to be working for them. I don't really necessarily agree with it, but I'm not sure that it's necessary for everything to be, to have a unique landing page necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, I tend to try and make my stuff for the user instead of looking at what other affiliates are doing. I don't really care what their landing pages look like that much. You can tell there's a certain amount of best practices that you put into a landing page, strong calls to action, good layouts, good colors, your headline is the most important, all that kind of stuff. After that, what you see, for instance, in someone else's AdWords result, if you look at their landing page, could be part of a split test that is the losing end of that split test. So if you're just, copying what's already out there, you could be copying the wrong thing and not know. But yeah, I mean, and also it's kind of a rat bastard thing to do, to go around copying people's landing pages. So if you want to, I'd like to sleep well at night, so I try to, make stuff that I think the user would be interested in. But the copy is very, very key. And when you see other people using your copy and things like that, and you spend a lot of time developing it, it can be tough.
It's a little different for SEO. I kind of treat every page as a landing page, and I think one way I can separate myself is by providing really great quality content or value. So add some value there, and then another way to kind of make it unique is to split test. Just split test everything you do. I use the website optimizer a lot and get a lot of great results, because that'll basically make you unique and more effective if you test everything you're doing on your page.
Okay. With blogging, I think in a particular niche, you have the same common set of news, so theoretically everyone would be publishing the same set of content. But I think if you think a little out of the box, if you analyze the impact of a particular news item, you provide a case study, you do a comparison, you do something with it, whether it's weight loss, dating, etc. If you do something with a basic set of information, analyze it, etc., I think you create unique content, and people will soon come to your site, not because they want to read the news, but maybe they want to read your analysis of development in that particular industry, or they want to listen or read your perspective on it. The other way to make yourself unique is because most of the information on the internet's text-based. If you switch the format, like you produce audio content like podcast or video, you create a whole new audience for your content as well. Again, regardless of whether it has to do with like credit repair, credit cards, etc. Next question is, what do you think of spy tools? Do you use them yourself, and how do you protect your sites against them?
Like a keyword
like
spy?
Key, Compete, Spyful, yeah, spy tools.
You want to take that?
I've never used any of that stuff. I have no idea. I just make my keyword lists and make my own campaigns, so not really sure about that stuff.
Go ahead.
I've had people copy my stuff before, and I've used Keyword Spy and some of these other tools to see, and I think it's kind of just a fair game. I try not to be rude to people in a way like I won't copy their stuff directly, but I definitely look at what other people are doing and follow by example, but I try to improve it or do a better job or do something different. As far as some of those tools go, finding out what people are bidding on, I mean, that's no secret, and I think that's kind of, it's fair game, and it raises the bar, and if you can raise the bar of what you're doing by creating better ads, split testing, creating better content, raising the bar of entry by creating a larger website or just adding more to it, I think that kind of helps protect you when people do try to copy what you're doing, because you've kind of raised the bar and made it harder for them to do that.
It's a mixed thing. SpyFu and Compete.com and things like that, they will show you only the search side of a particular campaign. And for a lot of niches, it's 80% content network, especially with Google Content Network, and only 20% of the conversions come from the search side. So you could be building campaigns and trying to roll them out on the content network that are based on search data, and it is a different animal. And you can, end up with kind of not necessarily the most effective campaign. I think one of the other things too is that the secret sauce is not the keywords. The secret sauce can be a combination of things typically. Of course, you need a keyword, but at the same time, it's how you organize them, how you group them, how you bid, the ad text you use, the amount of text ads that you split to find out what's going on. I strongly believe that anyone that says that you can use my tool and dominate the internets is full of crap, because it used to be that, for instance, I used to think that I knew what would work and what wouldn't. I have no idea what will work and what won't. Nick talked about, is this the stuff that I would buy or what I would use? I'm irrelevant. What matters is the user, and I have no idea what sticks. And so what it has boiled down to in the last year has been throw every single thing you can against the wall and see what sticks, and you'd be very, very surprised as to what actually nets you money at the end of the day. And you will often fail in your judgment about what you thought was going to work. And pretty much like with pay-per-click, it's scrape and post. Scrape the keywords from content sites, scrape them from the tools, scrape them from whatever, throw them up, see what sticks, and move on. Don't marry yourself to a particular keyword because you're so sure that it's going to work, or it's really good for your business's ego to rank for a particular keyword, or to bid on it, whatever. You have no idea, and anyone says that they can give you the secret formula to what will work and what won't it's just garbage.
You're preempting all my questions, Geordie.
Sorry. Sorry, end of rant.
I think with any blog, if you have a fair amount of traffic and you publish your RSS feed, there are going to be other marketers who are just going to take your RSS feed and republish it on their blog, sometimes without giving you attribution, and running AdSense around it, just like a MFA or Made for AdSense blog. So I think as long as you're publishing content as a blogger, you will have people just scraping, swiping your content and publishing it as your own. To protect your affiliate earnings, if you contextually embed your affiliate links within your blog post and they're republishing the entire post with the links intact, you can still generate affiliate income from people basically ripping off your blog content without adding stuff to it. But I wouldn't really spend much time trying to stop them, because you could probably better spend that time building a business. Next question, what's the biggest problem or issue that you're facing in your affiliate business? How do you deal with it?
I'll take it.
Take your time.
The biggest problem, I guess, is scaling my business and growing it. And I outsource a lot of my work and hire new virtual employees. to do a lot of it, and that's kind of how I've helped resolve it, which creates another problem, which is managing people. So then you have to bring in somebody else to help managing. So the way I kind of resolve that problem is really think of a mindset of creating a system for everything you do and eliminate any extra piece of work possible. And so that way it leaves room for little error, and you can just repeat the system over and over and over again. And no matter what you're doing, if you're doing pay-per-click or SEO or whatever business you're in, just create a system that will help you scale it. And so each time I try to grow my business larger, I have to create new systems and kind of redefine the way I do things. And by a system, it could be something as simple as a checklist for an employee to follow. But that's kind of how I've helped resolve that problem, and it seems to keep happening every time I try to grow my business.
I think my biggest problem has been like staying ahead of the curve. I mean, so many new people getting into affiliate marketing, pay-per-click, and it's just always more and more competition. And in order to like stay ahead, you have to put in work. You gotta stay motivated. Sometimes I have problems with that, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what's going to be the biggest benefit, is like just putting in more work. And I mean, because honestly, like most of the people that do this kind of stuff are lazy, and I mean, I can be plenty lazy myself, but you just gotta stay ahead of everybody else and always be innovating, never doing the same thing, getting complacent, leaving your campaigns alone, you know, not split testing stuff. And it's really easy to fall into that and lose motivation, but that's been my biggest problem. I mean, after you figure out how to make a campaign, how to set up tracking, build a landing page or whatever, you know, what to do to test your campaigns and whatnot. After that, it's really just staying motivated, trying new stuff, and not falling into, you know, doing the same thing over and over again. Because, you know, nothing lasts forever, and especially now with so many new people. I mean, I'm just looking at this room, and this is my competition. It's like, I know there's, and this is just like such a small slice of the pie. So you really got to always be innovating and always trying new things. I mean, there's plenty of stuff. I remember it was like, yeah, about exactly 1 year ago, and this guy from a network came to me and was like, hey, like there's this really good campaign I want you to try. And I was like, that landing page looks like the most retarded piece of crap I've ever seen in my life. And it ended up converting better than anything I've ever seen. And I just tried it just like to get the guy to stop bugging me, and it ended up making me like, you know, it ended up being like one of my best, most profitable campaigns ever. And so, I mean, that before that I was like just trying stuff that I'd seen other people, like, you know, ringtones and dating and stuff, and, you know, I could make a little bit of money or whatever, but it's always been like the stuff that I try just on a whim, just because I'm like really just trying to try everything and cover new ground that makes me a ton of money. So I mean, the biggest hurdle is definitely like staying motivated and staying ahead of what everybody else is doing, and not like just going with the crowd or whatever. So yeah.
I think the biggest challenge for me is to figure out what to spend time on. Time is finite, and there's a certain amount of opportunity cost for everything that you tie yourself up with. There could be something else out there that's making you more money. And it's hard to balance sometimes the stuff that makes lots of money with anything that's fun in any way to work on, because oftentimes the stuff that's really profitable is really, really boring. And so it can be hard to push yourself to keep doing that. And I try to mix in a little bit of stuff that's not ultimately going to make much money, but I'll enjoy it and it'll keep me engaged. But I think that a big part of this is to try and find out what's worth your time and how you want to live, how you want to apportion your time. And if you want to work 18 hours a day, you can do that. And if you want to work 4, you can do that too. But it's tough to figure out, to find your stride and figure out your balance for those things. And having said that, I think that what you choose to spend time on should be based more on what shook out of a test than, something that you plan and plan and plan before rolling out. Something that I see affiliates do a lot in this business, and especially, no offense to bloggers or anything, but I think that there's a lot of blog reading that goes on and forum reading. And while you're doing that exclusively because you want to launch your campaign so perfectly and you want to apply all the right techniques and things like that, and while you're reading, someone else is doing. And that can be the difference between somebody accelerating their business and somebody having a great plan on paper and doing absolutely nothing with it. You can be a professional blog reader in this business and a professional forum reader and ultimately never do anything. And I think that if you do find something that's worth spending time on, for God's sake, let it be because you've tested it and you see that there's a little blood there and you can go for more.
The biggest limitation for me is probably a function of the affiliate industry itself, because about 80 to 90% of the affiliate offers available are applicable only to US and Canadian traffic, whereas a small amount for Europe, and for Asia it's almost non-existent. Currently, some of the projects I'm working on Facebook, Friendster, the social networks, we've got such a globally diverse profile. We've got people from Pakistan, Indonesia, etc., who fill up every affiliate offer that applies to their country and then mail us asking for more affiliate offers. So I think it's a matter of waiting for the industry to catch up. So if you're from a network or a merchant and you take international traffic, please see me after this. Yes?
Regarding managing growth that you mentioned, Miles, what would be the first 3 employees that you would hire? What are the job descriptions once you go beyond yourself?
I hire out I guess I would just hire out the easiest tasks first and find somebody to fill that position, then just move up the list. It depends on your business, obviously, as to what they'll be doing, but usually it's easier to have people do the easiest, more simple things. So get rid of that and just kind of go up from there so that you're only doing the high-level activities, and that's kind of what I've done.
Can you define low value activities and high value activities?
Yeah, well, like I have a virtual assistant, so anything that she can do, like make a phone call that I don't need to make, see why I'm having a problem with my internet connection intermittently, any like secretarial type stuff, get a virtual assistant and have them do all that stuff, answering emails that you don't really need to answer, that somebody else can. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, but just any simple thing.
What's a high value
more
activity?
professional work, except assistance, but, search engine optimization. Do you outsource this type of things?
I outsource the stuff that I keep some stuff internally, like all the linking and partners and all of that stuff's done internally, like through employees who work for me. And then I outsource all the article writing and stuff like that, like basically all the article writing or web design.
I've never had success outsourcing. I hate it. It takes me longer to explain to someone what I want than it takes me to do it. So the way around that is through partnering. And I think that this is something affiliates could do more often, which is partner up with somebody who has the skill set that you need and share the revenue out of whatever comes from it. And even if it's short term, like I'll share the revenue with you for 2 months. Do up a deal like that, and then chances are, if they're good at what they do, the end result will be, because they have skin in the game, the end result will be a lot higher quality. They're certainly not going to rip off anybody else when they're doing that just to flip you work and cash in. So I think that especially in the current environment we're in, the more that you can team up with people, even on short-term basis, 1 month, 2 months, do it, work together, bang out, go to LegalZoom and get a quick partnership document that covers revenue share and cover your bum. But aside from that, the stuff that I've gotten back from outsourcers is just, I don't know if it's perfectionism or what, but it just sucks. I just can't do it.
Yeah, one way that I've kind of found a way around that is to not just outsource just a project here and there, but try to find somebody that you can work with on a consistent basis so that you can train them. I just got a new employee. She's in the Philippines, and I got him through a company called virtualhires.com. It's kind of like a temp agency for outsourcers, and they'll do kind of the headhunting to find somebody that'll fit you, and then I'll spend time training them to get them to do it right the way I want to do it, and then maybe up their pay to keep them. And I'm the same way. I found, if you just try to outsource a project and you pick a bidder on Elance or Rent-A-Code or something, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a headache and a hassle. So if you're going to do that, you want to find somebody you can work with again and again that you can train.
And how are you in-house employees?
How long have I had my employees?
No, and what are they doing? Job descriptions?
Well, I have two full-time article writers. I have a guy who comes in and he does like all kinds of stuff for me, just higher level like web design or just all sorts of different things. He's kind of a jack of all trades. And then I have a girl who does like virtual assistants, and she handles all my linking partnerships and a lot of stuff like that.
I don't know. I've never really outsourced. I buy like landing pages and stuff. I get my design outsourced because I hate doing design. But I've been really reluctant to hire any sort of employees just because this business for me has a lot to do with like the lifestyle. So as soon as I start hiring employees, then I'm like responsible for talking to them on a daily basis probably, and I have to like no, it's true. Like the thing that I'm serious. The thing I really love about doing PPC and affiliate marketing is that I set my own schedule. I'm my own boss. I'm not responsible to anybody. I don't have any set schedule. And although I do wake up at pretty good hours and I work long hours, it's not anybody else's hours. So as soon as I like start hiring somebody full time or anything like that, or partner up with somebody, then I have to be available to them. Then I can't take vacations whenever I want to. I can't do the things that I want. And that was the main draw for me into this industry, was that the freedom that came with it. So although it's a lot of hard work if you want to be really successful, the schedule is really, really free for me. So I guess it's sort of a trade-off.
I'd have to agree and disagree with that in some ways. You're right. If you want the ultimate freedom, hands down, no employees. But I can have a 15-minute phone conversation and have somebody do an activity for 3 hours, and I'm here, and I go on vacations and stuff too. But I just don't let them know that I'm out of the office all the time, getting a massage or But there's trade-offs, and if you want to grow your business, it definitely can help you just move by leaps and bounds, because there's no way I could get done all the things I get done by myself without all the help that I've got. And sometimes I find myself with little to do because I've just pushed it all away and all aside and cleared it out, and it frees up a lot of time for me. But I think it depends a little bit on your business, so in a lot of ways you're right too.
One other option is the concept of barter. If you're reluctant to pay an outsourcer and you want high quality work, you can look for, especially if you have a personal relationship with a really good coder or designer, and you've got a high value service on your side as well, whether it's a PPC campaign optimization or blog optimization, you can trade services. In some cases, when I first started out, I reduced my business expenses by trading copywriting for design services, and some of these designers put together like the landing pages and sites for some really successful merchants. So barter is always an option. I tend to use more joint ventures, good with like the social stuff and the business strategy, and I've teamed up with a really strong team of coders to do the application side. So I think if there's synergy and the other party recognizes the value that they're going to get out of the relationship, you could make it work. You just have to invest a little into the relationship building side of things. Next question, how do you use social media or Web 2.0 in your marketing efforts?
I use like social bookmark tools. Like I'll put there's a little thing called like bookmark this. So I'll put that on my site. It allows people to easily like dig your site or spread around. For most of my stuff, besides like my marketing Miles, with Miles stuff, I don't really use Twitter much for that side of my business, like the affiliate side as much. But I'll use a lot of the sites, social bookmarking, and I'll bookmark all my pages with like StumbleUpon, Dig. There's a good tool called OnlyWire that'll bookmark a whole bunch of sites real easily for you. So I kind of use it in the SEO aspect, but I don't do a lot of like, I don't do anything with Facebook or MySpace.
I don't know, I do a lot of Facebook and MySpace pay-per-click, but in terms of like social media or for the affiliate side, not really much. I have Twitter, which I use for my personal blog and stuff, and back when I was trying SEO, I used to try to get backlinks like by, I don't know, spamming all the social bookmarking sites, but other than that, not too big into the social media stuff.
I use just a very small sliver of it, which is on the content sites that are SEO traffic versus PPC. I've noticed that I can't get anything to go viral unless it's something about how to get something for free, or basically free. So if you want something to go up on Dig or StumbleUpon and take off, and it's commercially oriented, good luck. It's really hard. So typically what I'll do is take that page that I was going to make about a particular commercial approach, and I'll rejig it so that it's all about free everything, then get it out, get the links coming into it, so if it does take off and people do link to it, then after the fact, go and swap it out for commercial content. So just give it a couple of weeks, and the stuff fades into the nether regions, and you can then go in, swap out some of the content, and ride the rankings after that.
I think there are two myths, and two of the biggest myths for me about Web 2.0 is I commonly hear that social stuff and Web 2 stuff is free. It is free in terms of dollars and cents, but someone has to invest the time to submit the site to the bookmarking services, even if you're using automated site submitter. That you have to count how much that time is going to cost, that 2 hours, 5 hours, what's your hourly rate, and multiply that to get a sense of how much time you're putting into it, in which case compare against PPC and which is going to provide a better return on your investment. Web 2 stuff though, once it's indexed by the search engines, it stays up there for almost forever. The search engine ranking might drop, rise, etc., but it will stick. Second myth about social media, I think, is that it doesn't work. I think it works, but Web 2 stuff is just a collection of tools, software, websites. You still need to be grounded in solid marketing principles for it to work. Studies show that 80% of what determines whether an article or blog post is read, 80% of it lies in the headline itself. So even if you get it dug or submitted to bookmarking sites, but it has a terrible headline, you don't have to be link bait, but it has to be attractive. It has to motivate people to want to read that. And the rest of it lies in your first paragraph. So if your headline's not attractive, your first paragraph isn't attractive, most likely the reader wouldn't actually make it through the article to your affiliate link, and you obviously won't see a conversion. So I think you still have to build on your direct marketing principles, looking at some of the traditional marketing texts, tested advertising methods, all the copywriting books by the masters. I think that gives you a strong foundation to run your campaign, and Web 2 tools, the bookmarking, the Twitter, the Facebook, the MySpace, it's just icing on the cake. It helps you automate and get your traffic generation efforts up. Question? Mm-hmm. Is that a question or a statement? It's a question. Okay. Yep. A large majority, but I think that the studies have varying percentages, 70%, 90% of the value lies in your headline. But I think if you consider the fact that when your RSS feed is syndicated and just the snippet headline plus the first 3 sentences of first paragraph is what appears in someone's RSS aggregator, that's where I think the bulk of your time should be placed, especially if you're using it for serious lead generation or traffic generation. Just spend a decent amount of time planning and scheduling your stuff rather than kind of facing a blank blog post and typing whatever comes out to mind and hitting publish button as soon as you can.
Just one other note on the social media stuff, especially the voting. It's all rigged, all of it. If you pulled back the curtain and saw the systems that are running behind these engines that generate this much traffic, you would be very surprised. And you know, AdWords is a complex system. It drives a ton of traffic. It's very valuable, and so is social media traffic. And probably an equal amount of work has gone into the back end of making sure that these systems can be gamed and automated and all of that kind of thing, even on a social level, just from user to user. So there's a lot of automation in the background, but there's a lot of collusion that goes on, and you know, just don't ever think that it's entirely fair.
I think quality is important as well. It's better to have an in-depth understanding of 1 or 2 social networking services. For example, I'm not sure if you realize it, but Twitter has an RSS feed, and it is possible to ping that Twitter feed, especially if you're embedding affiliate links in your Twitter updates. So it's better to understand 1 or 2 social networking sites, Squidoo, Hub Pages, Twitter, Plug, really well, rather than scatter yourself across like 20 to 30 of these services. And I consider like older social channels like forums, blogs as part of the Web 2.0 landscape as well. Is there a question?
Yes. How many of you used YouTube to generate traffic? And if so, how did you go about it?
I have. So a while ago, it's about a year ago, I guess, we would mass download a bunch of music videos, and then you'd watermark it with your ringtone affiliate link, and then you'd re-upload it and try to get a bunch of traffic that way. It worked all right.
Along with that too, one thing that can work really well with your video to get it into the universal search results, which can bump everybody down quite a bit if there's a video embedded in the search results, is to transcribe the content. So if you have video content, take it, transcribe it, make a YouTube comment, and then stick the transcription in the comment, and make sure that you properly tag your videos, and you'd be surprised how much of that video content can get yanked into the universal search results, bumping results number 4 and on all the way down to the bottom of the page.
I think video works really well with product reviews, because most of the time with these landing pages or products you see, it's just a sales page. So if you use the video to kind of show what goes on behind the scenes or a preview of the product itself, I think that helps to pre-qualify a lot of the viewers who view the traffic. Also, being able to keyword target the video appropriately affects the chances of someone being able to successfully find the video. Videos tend to rank really well for keywords, usually even appearing like within the top 10, 20 results for a particular keyword term. There are also other services like Bubbleply. This lets you embed overlay over your video. Bubbleply, bubble and ply.com, lets you embed an overlay over your video and lets you embed bubbles with affiliate links. So you could show the video on your site, and someone clicking on the bubble gets sent to the affiliate link, whether it's a free Xbox or acai berry trial, limited offers, etc. Also, like testing out the various video distribution services out there. I know everyone tends to use YouTube, but I found that MetaCafe and River can be useful as well. With MetaCafe, there was a video marketing session last year, and the MetaCafe rep, I believe, said you could disable the related videos that appear because that could leak some traffic. The other tactic, slightly gray hat-ish, is to have an end screen that drags for about 1 or 2 minutes at the end of your video, because most people wouldn't watch a black screen for 2 minutes, and the related related videos might never appear. Let's see. Okay, tracking. It's kind of self-obvious answer, but is tracking important for your business, and how do you use it? What kind of tools do you use?
I think we
Traffic conversion tracking.
I think we talked about it, but
Okay.
we went over it pretty well. I don't know. I use Prosper 202 and track everything to a really granular level. Like, you just want to pay attention to as much detail as you can, so that you can cut out the non-profitable parts of your campaign. It's probably the most important part of any PPC stuff is tracking. If you're not doing that, then you're just wasting your money. So make sure that that's like the first thing that you do when you want to start doing PPC stuff, is set up your tracking and make sure it's working properly.
Website optimizer?
Yeah, I use, for SEO, I use like a website, Google Analytics for my site, and kind of what I'll do is just basically know where the sales are coming from, what pages, and I also use, like, if your affiliate program has it, sometimes they'll have tracking codes or IDs that'll tell you where your sales are coming from. I use that as well.
On the Google Website Optimizer, it's all JavaScript based, which is really cool because if you put it on your page, Google has no idea what is in that script typically. So if you're split testing copy, for instance, you're effectively cloaking your copy using their method. And as a result, you can rotate in stuff and not have to worry about, how is this going to affect my rankings if it's an organic site, that kind of thing. They will pretty much give you a free pass because you're using their tool, even though they don't really know what you're putting on that page. So it can, it's a really powerful tool, but like all Google tools, it just gives them more information in the long run about how you make the monies. So it's a balance, but it's really neat to be able to test different things using that sort of okay cloaking method.
With blogging, you don't really need very sophisticated analytics. I use AW Stats, Yahoo, my blog log Pro Stats, which shows me the referring URL, the URLs they view on my blog, and their exit or destination URL. So it's, I think most important thing is to use the analytics data. If this particular keyword, topic, etc. is popular, just create more of it, pump more of it out, and the traffic will naturally increase. Okay, this is the big question. What's the super affiliate secret sauce? How do you be more productive? What's the difference between a top affiliate and a struggling affiliate?
That's easy. There's no secret. I mean, really, there's nothing that you're ever going to read in an ebook or a forum or a blog or anything that's going to set you apart from anybody else. It's really about, after you've learned how to set up tracking, how to make a campaign and a landing page, and how to split test your stuff. After that, it's really all about how much effort you put into it. And if you treat it like a real job and you put in the hours, then you're gonna make a lot of money if you're smart enough to come up with your own campaigns. And if you don't, and you sit around and ask a ton of questions about, oh, is this gonna work, is that gonna work, instead of actually trying it out for yourself, then you're never gonna make any money, and you're gonna whine about how hard it is, when in fact this is probably the easiest job I've ever had in my life. And I've had some really easy jobs. So, I mean, if you're not making any money and you've been in this industry for a while enough to know the ropes, then you really have no excuse. You just put in the work and you'll make money.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely hard work. And I think a lot of it has to do with your mindset and your identity and how big you can think. Like, there's a good quote, you'll never rise above the level of your vision. And you just won't. If you don't think you'll make, if you don't believe it's going to work, it won't. And if it does, and you're lucky, you might self-sabotage it, because you have to have your mindset and currently redefine what you think your business is and how big you can grow it. Like when I started out, it's just by myself, and then you hire somebody and it changes. It's like, oh, I'm a business now, I have an employee, and then you grow. So you constantly have to redefine the way you think about yourself, your business, and raise your limits. When I started out, my goal was to make $100 a day, and I thought $100 a day back then was a lot of money. And I thought I'd be living the high life at $100 a day, not doing anything, working from home. And now, obviously I couldn't even survive on I could, but I couldn't do what I do now on $100 a day. But and now, it just, that level increases to where you think even $1,000 a day isn't much. And then, just that bar keeps getting raised higher and higher. And I think that's really what separates super affiliates, is just their mindset of thinking of how much they can make, what they can do, and who they think they are. And if you think your identity is somebody who's, it's all wrapped up in your mind, basically, is all it is. And if you put in the effort and believe it will happen and just keep going for it, it will.
I think it comes down to three things. I'm not sure which is more important, but one of them is that super affiliates test more. They just do, and it works out well for them. They also know how to look at something that's going to suck horribly and immediately reject it. Because if you're a network and you're offering the world's worst landing page to a super affiliate, typically they have enough experience through testing to look at that and not waste their time with it, so that helps. I think the second thing is they have more money. They have more money from past experience to test more, to try different things. They don't freak out when they lose $1,000 in an hour. It's, not everybody can do that, and that's partially a product of the fact that they've probably been doing it for a while and have a bit of budget built up, and so that can help a lot. That's not to say that if you don't have money that you can't be a super affiliate, but just get some more credit cards. And then I think one thing that I've seen with a number of guys who are, in the high 5 figures, and that is that 5 figures. What is it? We're millions. What is millions?
7.
Thank you. All right. 7, good stuff. The millions.
Really, really easy.
Yeah, exactly. Why make billions when you can make millions? I think is that they're really good marketers. Like, they spend a lot of time, I think a lot of them, in using techniques that old direct marketing guys have known for years, like the guys who do mailings and the guys who do a lot of different, infomercials and stuff. Like, they get it. Those guys, those techniques have been proven 40 years ago. And a lot of the super affiliates that I've met that use those techniques see the results. So, I mean, take some time to check out how this all works in the back end when it comes to direct marketing, because it's the same thing, it's just online, and those time-tested techniques work year after year. Sorry about the math.
I think especially for newer affiliates, there's a tendency to want to subscribe to a lottery mentality, because you read these blogs and forum posts about affiliates who spend 5 minutes, 30 minutes setting up an affiliate campaign, and it starts generating like huge returns. I think that's typically not something you see happen consistently unless you're really lucky or really experienced. So I think if you think about building your affiliate business as a business, and you think of yourself as a affiliate marketer owning a business rather than someone just playing the slots and hoping to get a lucky campaign, I think if you think of it long term, you're more likely to succeed rather than just hoping and praying for that one lucky campaign with a 10 times return on whatever you're spending on it. We're going to wrap up the session. Any final thoughts? Maybe a final thought from each of you?
Thank you for not throwing your shoes at me.
He had a question.
Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question. And this does not apply to you, because you've already stated that you don't do it. But I spend a lot of time reading blogs and forums and websites, like MakeMoniesOnline.com, or PPC.bz, and Wicked Fire. What sites do you guys read to find traffic sources?
dstonesucks.com.
I just a lot of the whole gamut of popular sites out there. I read. I don't spend too much time though on any forums at all. I don't. Not anymore. I used to, but some good sites are basically like the more popular ones about SEO, more popular blogs.
I do read blogs. I think the point was, if you're doing that instead of doing work, then. But I check out Marketing Sherpa quite a bit, and also Copy Blogger. If you haven't read Copy Blogger, you need to. And Aaron Wall's SEO book, which is also excellent.
I think key is coming to these events and meeting other affiliates face-to-face. The biggest benefit I've got is from one-to-one conversations over Skype or AIM from them. I think that's where you're going to get the biggest exchange of ideas, because sometimes the stuff that appears on blogs and forums, they're just ideas or theoretical situations, so don't be spending $1,000 on an idea and expecting to be successful. Last question?
I mean, saying it's astronomical is kind of relative. I mean, for some areas it's not. I mean, if you think that like paying $2 per click is astronomical, I mean, there's somebody that's making more than $2 per click from their ads. So it really depends. There's a lot of traffic sources that are much less expensive. I mean, you have everything from like pay-per-view traffic that can be small fractions of a cent per view, all the way up to really expensive stuff where you're paying upwards of like $10, $20 a click. So it's really about testing. I mean, maybe you want to test the least expensive stuff. My tip for that, I always start my campaigns on MSN Ad Center, because they're usually less expensive. They convert twice as well as Google traffic. But they have about 1/6 of the traffic of Google. So I mean, if you're new and you're starting out, that's probably where I would start. Get yourself a coupon for like $50 in free traffic there, and give it a try. But I mean, when I started out, my budget was, I was working retail. My budget was about $25 a day. That's like, I could barely afford that, and I ended up making it work. So I mean, it's really what you got to spend.
Geordie?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a slaughter if you go in on the highest terms and you think that's all that's available to you, but 9 out of 10 successful PPC guys go in sideways with some stuff that, isn't necessarily the top term. Bidding on credit card or mortgage or what have you is going to be a bloodbath, but there's a million ways to get that traffic and get cheap clicks.
I'd say overall, just whatever amount it takes to be successful is how much you'll have to lose, because on a per campaign basis you're going to have a certain amount that you might lose, but overall you just kind of have to keep going if you want to make it successful.
Great. Any last questions? Yeah. Last question. What's the most you've lost?
Oh man, I lost 5,000 one time in a day because I set my campaign up wrong and I bid $80 when I was trying to bid 80 cents. It was a nightmare.